Right now, inflation is stealing your money. Today, tomorrow, every single day. But the wealthy are using three simple levers to flip the script and make rising costs work for them instead of against them. I'm Tamar Hermes, and this is the Women Growing Wealth podcast. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what those levers are and how to pull them. You know that feeling when you go to buy eggs and they're $6 a dozen? Everyone's been talking about it. Inflation isn't some abstract economic concept anymore. It's staring you right in the face every time you go to the grocery shop. At just 3% inflation, which the Fed calls healthy, your money loses half its buying power every 24 years. Half. Here's the math that will keep you up at night. But don't worry, by the time this episode's done, we will make sure that doesn't happen. Let's say you want $100,000 a year in retirement every year. You'll actually need $181,000 just to live that same lifestyle. That extra $81,000 isn't optional, it's survival. But here's the wildest thing. While your dollar is shrinking and you're paying more for eggs than you used to pay for lunch, the wealthy keep getting richer. Why is that? Because they learned something most of us were never taught. You don't beat inflation by penny pinching or by working overtime. You beat it by thinking like the wealthy do. Let's get into the three levers. The first one is time. Time is on your side. And the reason is because we have something called compound interest. Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And he said those who understand it earn it. Those who don't pay it. Here's the lesson. If you put $500 into an index fund today, earning 8% annually, in 10 years, that becomes $1,079. But here's where it gets wild. By 20 years, it's $232 from one $500 investment. But most people wait. They think, I'll start investing when I make more money. Big mistake. Invest $500 monthly, starting at 25, you'll have $1.3 million by the time you're 65. Wait till you're 35, only $600,000 is made. That 10 years cost you $700,000. Think about a school teacher that puts $50 a month away every year for 40 years. That $50 a month, if she was just 23 when she started investing, that disciplined habit can make her a millionaire. Think about what it can do for you. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Let's look now at lever number two. Inflation beating assets. Now, what do I mean by that? It has to do with what you invest in. While most people fight inflation by cutting expenses, the wealthy own assets that rise with inflation. There are a couple of options that you can use. One is I bonds. They're government bonds that adjust with inflation. They're boring and safe, and you can only invest up to $10,000 a year. But still, there's something that keep working for you. Then there's index funds. When costs rise, companies usually raise prices. So the S&P 500 that invests in the 500 most popular businesses in the world, they are making an average of 10% annualized return. Imagine how much that can grow your net worth over time. And then let's look at my favorite, real estate. I even wrote a book about it, The Millionaire's Mentality. When building costs increase, for example, existing properties become more valuable. The value of real estate returns goes on and on. If you think about a property 20 years ago, what it was worth and what it's worth today, you can just see how much the values go up over time. Now, if you don't have a huge amount of money to get started, you can start simply with a REIT, which is on the stock exchange, and that will invest in a bundle of real estate investments. There are so many ways to make money. You can start with single family homes, like I did. Those values go up. The first investment I ever made, I bought for $400,000 and it's now worth 2 million and it's cash flowing positive. I make thousands of dollars on it every month. Now let's look at lever number 3, strategic positioning. The lesson with this lever is simple. Don't chase returns. Create sustainable systems. If you want to put money into whatever investment is hot this month, you're kind of gambling. But if you consistently invest in proven assets that return over decades, you're starting to build wealth. This is the Warren Buffett philosophy. And I learned it the hard way. When I first started investing, I kept investing in one thing to another thing, trying to chase the market and buying and selling and paying taxes on all of that. You know what happened? I just ended up losing money while the market kept going up. Remember, Warren Buffett says, time in the market beats timing the market. And everything started to click when I stopped looking at chasing the market and started looking at long term wealth creation. Wealthy people understand that boring consistency beats flashy perfection every time. That's why they diversify. They invest regularly, depending on what market conditions are doing. And they never panic sell when things get scary. So they'll stay in an investment. And then if it goes down, they just buy more, but they stay in that investment that they believe in. Chasing the market is very hard, if not impossible to do. Let's talk about the worst thing you can do and what absolutely doesn't work. If you save your money and you just leave it in a bank account earning 0.005% or whatever ridiculous amount that traditional banks pay, that's like trying to outrun inflation on foot while it's driving a Ferrari. Stuffing cash in your mattress because it feels safe, every year you do that, it buys less stuff. And my personal favorite, hoping this will blow over, thinking that inflation will go away, that somehow the government's going to get it under control. But if you look at the decades of spending and the increases in spending and how much the printing of the dollar is happening, hope is not a great wealth strategy. The wealthy figured this out a long time ago. They don't fight inflation, they ride it. So, what actually happens when you start thinking with these levers working for you? Grocery prices will still go up. I can't fix that for you. But here's what will change: your wealth starts growing faster than the costs. That property I mentioned, it's not just worth more, it generates rental income that rises with inflation too. My index funds have compounded over years and years after years. They continue to grow wealth for you. And the I bonds adjust when prices spike. So I'm not just saying this to get you to think about getting rich overnight because that strategy generally doesn't work. What I'm saying is it makes sense for you to create a wealth strategy that is inflation proof. You stop worrying about rising prices because your assets are rising faster. It's like having a personal inflation bodyguard. Here's your homework. And yes, I'm giving you homework because knowledge without action is just entertainment. And I know I'm pretty entertaining, but still, we're here to grow wealth. First, get real about what inflation is costing your future. Calculate what you'll need in retirement with real numbers, not fairy tale math. If you're not including inflation into your calculations, you're missing a big piece of the equation. Second, pick one lever to pull this month. Maybe that Treasury Direct account for I bonds, maybe research solid index funds. You can go to Vanguard and find so many that are really, really powerful tools to grow wealth. And there's not a lot of fees attached to them. Don't wait. Maybe just starting to track how your expenses have crept up and what you're going to do about it. Warren Buffett didn't make his billions overnight, but you need to get started. And listen, if you want to know the exact number, what you actually need to retire comfortably, factoring in inflation, taxes, and realistic returns, go to getyourenoughnumber.com where you can get my calculator for free and figure that out. Now, you can also join me for one of my wealth workshop dinners or virtual events. And you can do that when you hit getyourenoughnumber.com. There'll be a link to go to register for a live event as well. Look, inflation should get your attention, but it shouldn't paralyze you. Every wealthy person started exactly where you are right now. You likely have more money than you think, and you're closer than you think. Knowing something needs to change, but you're just not sure what levers to pull. The difference between all the levers is that the wealthy are taking action. The others are sitting quietly and saving the money. That doesn't work. You know how the three levers work now. You know the tools. The only question left is, what are you going to do about it? Hit subscribe now to Women Growing Wealth or review the podcast and tell others you love it so that more and more women can find out about the knowledge that I'm sharing here and can get on their wealth journey. Don't forget, getyourenoughnumber.com. And thanks for listening to Women Growing Wealth. We'll see you next week.